I can see through the spyglass that His Dark Materials Season 3 is glowing with all the awesomeness. Bring out your tissues, ladies and gentlemen, because this is the final season. His Dark Materials Season 3 is the third and final season of the BBC/HBO Max TV adaptation of Philip Pullman's His Dark Materials book trilogy, and premiered first on HBO Max and premiered in the UK December 2022 to February 2023. And this third season adapts the concluding book of the His Dark Materials trilogy, the Amber Spyglass, which is my personal favourite. So His Dark Materials Season 3 tells the story taking place right where Season 2 left off, where Mrs. Coulter now has Lyra and she's keeping Lyra hidden from Metatron and the Magisterium because Lyra is Eve. So the Magisterium want her dead, and Will is searching for Lyra to get her back, and while at the same time wants to fulfill his promise to his father by delivering the subtle knife to Lord Asriel. And Lord Asriel's rebellion is gathering and preparing to battle Metatron and the Magisterium in the final showdown that will determine the fate of all universes. And Mary Malone finds herself in the world of the Mullafer, and she finds a spyglass that can see dust. The Amber Spyglass, I know, is not everybody's favourite book from the trilogy, but it is my personal favourite, as I see it as the most epic and emotional and the most ambitious of the book trilogy, and it is the longest too, appropriately, as it is the finale, and it feels more like Northern Lights than it does the Subtle Knife. So Season 3 was naturally my most anticipated season of the three from ever since the show began all the way back in 2019. I was most hyped as hell to see how they were going to adaptate the Amber Spyglass to TV, and it is the most complicated of the books to adapt. I mean, but thankfully, I mean, this season succeeded in that. So with flying freaking covers. I mean, Season 3 of his Dark Materials is breathtaking TV. I mean, this is not even close my favourite season of the three. Yes, it dethrones even Season 1. It brought back what I loved about Season 1, and is thankfully a great improvement over Season 2, which was just so and so in my opinion. But yeah, this one lived up to the hype and raised the bar in concluding seasons to TV shows, and I'm not just saying that because of my bias and a sheer love for the Amber Spyglass book. I truly mean that. Even if the Amber Spyglass was not your favourite of the books, I think this season made the story more accessible for you. So you needn't worry. It helps that this season is, 8 episodes like Season 1, Season 2 being the shortest with just 7, but thankfully the COVID pandemic did not impact the final product of Season 3 like it did Season 2. While I was gutted we got no season in 2021, I mean, because this season was shot in 2021, but it was more than worth the wait to see this show in 2022. And I think the way the episodes are structured, and the execution, the Amber Spyglass story was perfect. Like the thankfully the part where Mrs. Coulter holds Lyra hostage and is drugging her daughter was went on for as long as it needed to, and wasn't drawn out. And even some of the scenes with Mary Malone and the Mullafer from the book were trimmed for the show, and and we got just the right amount of them, as they were the slower parts of the book, whereas the more actiony parts were with Lyra and Will, and Coulter and Asriel. But nonetheless, the Amber Spyglass book has my favourite worlds in the His Dark Materials franchise, and the world of the Mullafer, just like Lyra and Will said, is my favourite world in this universe. It is astonishingly beautiful to behold in this show. Like this season has stronger visual effects than some movies in cinemas right now. That is saying something. I mean, and the Mullafer look adorable. Even if they are not as gigantic as I envisioned them to be, I envisioned them to be like 3 times as large as an elephant. But I still dig their design. And Mrs. Coulter, I've got to say, was at her very best in this season. I mean, and seeing her drug her daughter is of course downright cruel. I mean, but you can still see she still loves and cares for her daughter more than anything, and how much her daughter means the world to her, and she's drugging Lyra because she knows how much Lyra has disregard for her and would run away if Lyra was not drugs, kind of like how Quaritch was holding Spider hostage in Avatar: The Way of Water and didn't want his son to run away. And we finally get to see where Mrs. Coulter's loyalties lie, where she gets her to go to Asriel's camp as well as the Magisterium, and in episode 5, the Magisterium attempted to kill Mrs. Coulter and her demon to cause an explosion that would get Lyra killed in the land of the dead. But Mrs. Coulter thankfully stops them, and Mrs. Coulter gets some profound and emotional moments with her monkey demon, as well as one moment with Serafina Pekkala. You totally buy her redemption, despite everything she did in the previous 2 seasons. And even so, yeah, not only does Ruth Wilson her most groundbreaking performance as a Coulter, but also James McAvoy gives his best performance as Asriel here, undoubtedly. Asriel is in this season far more, as is Yurik, thankfully. And Yurik gets to kick the 7 bells out of Asriel for because Asriel tore a hole in the skies of Svalbard, causing Yurik and his bears to starve, and for murdering Roger in season 1. And Asriel and Coulter both get a full redemption here, like when they both face Metatron, who is the main antagonist of the His Dark Materials trilogy in general. He was the angel that overthrew the authority and locked the authority in prison. And yes, his design, once we get to see him in person in the penultimate episode, does not look like you would expect. He looks just like a guy in a leather jacket, but still the electrifying moment. The moment that they got to spot on was Coulter and Asriel holding on to Metatron as they are falling into the abyss in slow motion, and just the music is excelling, and Lyra and Will witness Coulter's demon disintegrate it into dust. It's a real heartbreaker that Lyra never got to find out. How much her mother truly loved her in the end, and Lyra even mentions in the final episode, despite all the crimes her parents have committed, she can't bring herself to hate her parents, and uh, the I even though this season does have the most heart-pounding action and a spectacle of the three, making the first two seasons look tinier in comparison. It's never forgets to the story and the characters first, which is a stroke of genius. And of course, it's Lyra and Will that totally steal this final season. Daphne Keane as Lyra truly deserves an award. I mean, yeah, this is her finest hour as Lyra Silvertongue. She and Will go from a childhood to adulthood here and become absolute badasses, and a true powerhouse, inseparable couple. And the part where they go to the land of the dead, what was deeply satisfying. Like there's even and they don't even get to the land of the dead that easily. The show shows how challenging it is. Like Lyra has to find and talk with her death to get her there, and even has to leave Pam behind. I mean, so she literally had to abandon her soul too just to save Roger and Scoresby and John Perry from that eternal hell. And the harpy in the land of the dead, No Name, I mean, gave me pure chills. Like it. I mean, the design is terrifying. Yeah, the harpies make the spectres look not so scary in comparison, and the uh, uh, title intro for season 3 did change some of the visuals, and I love how they are able to differentiate the title sequence for each season to let you know that the story has progressed, and the decision to make the uh, final battle in the penultimate episode and have the final episode be focused on Will and Lyra falling in love and being forced to leave one another. That was absolutely the right way to go. And by the finale, you will be emotionally worn out. I am not kidding. I mean, it certainly made me bawl my eyes out like a baby, and you will be doing the same when Lyra and Will can't stay together. In order to fix every universe, they are told that they need to return to their own worlds. And I mean, not even the subtle knife can help this time. And yes, it is totally unfair that Lyra and Will could not just stay in the world of the Malif and live together for the rest of their days. In a fair world, they would have been able to do so. But at the end of the day, life is unfair, and I have learnt that the hard way at the beginning of the 2020s. Like, I have lost some people in my life who are dear and special to me, and I wish every single day I could bring them back and see them and chat with them again. And I wish they could have seen how far I've come now. So I totally felt Lyra and Will's pain here when they bidded farewell, but they did at least continue to meet as a bench in the garden every single year, and their love for one another will never die. So it's one of those combinations of a positive and negative ending, a bittersweet one. I wouldn't be surprised if Philip Pullman was applauding away when when he saw this season. That is how good it is, and I would. I mean, it sucks that the Golden Compass never got to make it to 3 movies. Now we've gotten a show of this story that made it to 3 seasons and told the entire story. I mean, I would love this story to be told in movie form again in a reboot, and I would love to do it if I get the opportunity someday. So overall, His Dark Materials season 3 is a masterful finale to what's turned out to be a awesome show overall, and the only season I have not a single flaw with. Its changes from the source material worked for me, unlike season 2. It's the darkest, made me cry the most by far, and was just all around epic TV.
I give His Dark Materials season 3 5 stars out of 5. Best season ever.
So yeah, with so yeah, I will always be thankful we got this show. It showed that Philip Pullman's book trilogy can be adapted right, and I pray we get more shows like this in the future. And I love you guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. And what are your thoughts on His Dark Materials season 3? Are you with me and agree that this season totally outdoes and the first two, or is it not your favorite season for whatever your reason? Please comment and let me know. Please like this video and subscribe. But please feel free on Twitter and on Instagram, and I'll see you next time when I have a extreme rant on Fox and the Hound 2 coming your way, which is my least favourite Disney sequel of all time, as well as some Peter Rabbit reviews, as it is coming up to Easter and springtime, so I thought it was appropriate. And remember, movies are us. Bye, guys.